Hi everyone, welcome to this week's video. This week I am cutting wedding flowers. I've got two weddings this week. The weather has been really nice, it's been sunny, it's brought out lots of my tulips, which is fantastic. It's been a bit chilly overnight, so I've had my fleece tunnels over my flowers just protecting them. It's a good time to cut flowers early in the morning, so just now it's 7 a.m. and I am off to see what I can find that's come out overnight. First wedding this week is a white theme, white and green, so lots of nice green foliage and some lovely white tulips and narcissi and stalks and things like that. Second wedding is more of a pastel theme with pinks and blushes and creams and whites and greenery, so that's going to be nice to work with as well. So the second wedding is more what is looking most beautiful on the day, and the first wedding is sticking to that white theme if we can. Once I've cut my wedding flowers in the flower patch, I then put them in my old stone garage, which is really nice and cold. It's kind of like a fridge in there, so that is a great place to condition them, and they will stay in there for several hours before arranging, or overnight ideally. So let's go and have a look in the flower patches and see what we can find. This beautiful narcissi that I am cutting just now is called Talia, and it is a really lovely one because it's pure white, and that's going to be ideal for this week because my bride on Thursday would like some lovely white flowers in her bouquets and on her tables. So I'm just going to cut a few more of these just now, and I've got Talia planted in a few different areas of the garden. I like to spread them out a bit so that they don't all bloom at the same time. So if you put some in a sunny part, they'll bloom first, and if you plant a few in a more shady area, then they'll come a little bit later. So that just helps spread the flowers over the spring season a little bit longer. But it is a stunning white flower, isn't it? When you're cutting for wedding flowers, the best time to do it is either late in the evening when the sun's gone down, or early in the morning before it's got warm. So this is 7 in the morning just now, and I'm away off to see what I can find. You can just see the last little bits of frost on the grass there, and I'll have to go and lift up my fleece tunnels. They've been protecting my flowers overnight because it was down to 1 degree. I've got buckets of clean water. I take these with me so the flowers go directly from being cut in that flower patch straight into water. They're never lying dry out of the flower patch. That keeps them nice and fresh, and then they go to condition in my old stone garage for a couple of hours at least, overnight ideally, but I'm cutting all the time with tulips at the moment, and I thought there might be a few more nice ones that I can use for the wedding tomorrow, so I'm going to go and have a look just now and see if I can find them. These are white fringed honeymoon tulips, and they are my absolute favourite flowers to grow in the springtime, and they're absolutely gorgeous, and I love using them in bridal work. And this week I've got 2 weddings, and I really wanted to have some of these white fringed tulips in their bouquets, but the weather has been so bad, so cold recently, that they were just refusing to come into bloom. So the brilliant thing was that I grew some of these tulips in pots. So I grew some in the flower beds, which are under tunnels at the moment, and I have grown some in pots, and that meant that I could move them around according to what the weather was doing. So if it was a nice sunny day, I could put them outside, so that would bring them on, and then if the weather was really cold, I could then bring them into the greenhouse to cover them overnight, and that has really helped get them blooming. I think if I had just grown them out in the flower patch with no cover at all, I wouldn't have had any of these white fringe blooms for this week. So it was a big success growing in containers. And I've also got some of these white fringe ones which are just budding up really nicely underneath the low caterpillar tunnels in the garden as well, so hopefully some of those will be in bloom as well for the weddings this week. They look slightly creamy when they first come out like this, but they will whiten as they develop, and they're going to look really stunning in the bridal bouquets. When I harvest tulips, I pull them out of the ground with the bulb still on, so you can see here that the bulb is still attached. And the reason that I do that is that I get a super long stem for flower arranging if you have the bulb attached. You just get that extra few inches at the bottom there. If I had just cut it out of the flower patch, I probably would be getting it about here, and instead I've got a whole extra 2 inches of stem on the bottom, which is fantastic for arranging. So I've cut lots of tulips and narcissi from the garden, which are just conditioning in the garage now for my bouquets for the wedding. But I've also been round to find all of this gorgeous material to add into the bouquets as well. So I have cut some beautiful hellebores, and if you have a little look at them just now, you can see that some of them have produced their seed pods. And you can see that they're quite mature flowers, and this means that they're at a good stage for cutting. They will hold up in bouquets because they're mature. If you cut them when the flowers have just come out, then they tend to wilt, but they make an absolutely fabulous addition to bouquets once they're a bit older. Another thing that I love to add into spring wedding bouquets is Spirea bridal wreath. It's gorgeous. It just gives some spiky accents with beautiful tiny delicate white flowers, so that's going to look really pretty in it. And I've also got lots of lovely eucalyptus that you can see in here as well. And I'm really chuffed with this eucalyptus because I've grown it from seed and it's been slowly growing up in the garden over the last few years, and now I'm able to cut some good stems from it for bouquets. What else have we got in this bucket? Got some rhododendron leaves as well to go in the bouquet. At this time of year, when you're making wedding flowers with spring flowers and foliage, you have to be quite careful because a lot of the foliage in the garden is new growth and it's quite wilty. So you have to go for things that are a bit stronger. So I'm using rhododendron leaves, eucalyptus, the spirea here, but I'm not cutting from some other things in the garden that I might normally do because it's only just coming out. Another thing I might use is skimmia. That's another good one to use at this time of year. It's quite robust. Down here, I don't know whether you can see, but these are fritillaria, but these are Alba variety. They're a white variety and they are just beautiful, so they are going to go in the bouquets as well. So these flowers will go off just now and they will condition overnight in the garage in nice deep water. Hellebores, I give them a good drink right up the length of their stems so that they're conditioned well and it will hold for me in bouquets. And foliage as well, it needs a really good drink after you've cut it. And any woody stems, I also slip them on the bottom up about an inch, and that just helps them to drink up the water as well and condition well. So let's go and get these into the old stone garage where it's really nice and cool today, and these can get conditioning ready to go in the bridal flowers tomorrow. So my bride on Thursday would like some bouquets and buttonholes, but she's chosen to have DIY buckets of cut flowers so that she can arrange her own tables and decorations. And this is a lovely thing to do. It means that you can not have the stress of organising and arranging the whole of your wedding flowers, but you can do a little bit of it. And these hyacinths are white to go with the white bridal thing that we've got, and they're fully out. I've cut them when they are completely out because when you're cutting wedding flowers you want to enjoy them out. You don't want them still to be in bud. So the scent of these is absolutely gorgeous. So these are my buttonholes that I've been making for the wedding this week. My couple wanted 7 buttonholes and it's following the white theme again. So we've got some lovely hellebores here that are white ones that are nice and mature. They've got mature seed pods, so that means that they won't wilt. They've had a good drink overnight to condition them. I've got some white mascari, some white heather, some osmanthus here. It's got some yew at the back, and I have got some rosemary as well. You can see on this one here is the rosemary. So I've chosen these ingredients for my buttonholes from the garden, not only because they tie in with the white and green theme that my couple would like, but also because these are strong ingredients that are not likely to wilt at this time of year. You have to be quite careful what you put in buttonholes in the springtime because a lot of foliage is new growth and it will wilt quite easily, and also flowers as well. Quite a few of them are prone to wilting in the springtime. So you've got to be quite careful. So I've chosen mascari because I know it'll hold up well, white heather because it holds up beautifully, and also my hellebores because I know that they'll hold up because they've got nice mature seed pods on them. So I couldn't choose any of the brand new flowers that have come out for hellebores, but the ones that have matured I can do. So hopefully these will look beautiful on the day. I've kept the stems long just now because these buttonholes are getting collected the day before the wedding, so they just sit in little jars of water, and then the couple can trim them on the day of the wedding, the stems, to where they would like them to be after they've had a drink and they're ready to wear. And they're just bound in nice twine for a rustic, natural look. This is my bridal bouquet all ready, and it's got some absolutely gorgeously stunning flowers in it. It's got hellebores, it's got Spirea bridal wreath, it's got these lovely French tulips, it's got some white stalks from the garden, It's got some lovely white narcissi that I grow, eucalyptus that I've grown from seed. When I make a bridal bouquet, I always tuck the tulips quite low down in it, and this is because the tulips will continue to grow and stretch towards the light. So we want them to be tucked fairly low tonight because the bride's collecting it the day before the wedding, and then overnight they'll grow a little bit and they will be a little bit higher up in the bouquet. So bridal bouquets from me are very natural, they're very rustic, and it's just to make it look as if you've just gone through the garden on a spring day and gathered the most beautiful flowers that you could see. Here's the buttonholes for today's wedding, and these are starring hellebores again, but with a shade of colour in them this time. Nice and mature so they won't wilt. We've got rosemary, muscari, eucalyptus in them. I love the colours in this second bridal bouquet of the week, and I love the flowers in it as well. I love the apricot beauty tulips that you can see here. We've got white fringed honeymoon tulips. We've got spirea bridal wreath, beautiful hellebores. We've got lots of lovely narcissi in here. We've got some beautiful apricot stalks from the flower patch, eucalyptus, pittosporum, white daffodils. I hope you've enjoyed having a look at some of my wedding work this week. The weddings were fantastic this week because the weather was so good. It was a real pleasure to go and cut flowers from the garden. We didn't have any rain or snow or wind, which we can often have at this time of year with weddings. Every wedding I do is different in terms of size. Some are small, some are bigger. Some people like to arrange some of their own flowers, and other people like me to arrange the whole lot. So this week my couples both did the same thing. They wanted to have their own buckets of flowers for arranging their own tables and decorations, and they wanted me to do the bridal flowers. So one wedding was just buttonholes and a bride's bouquet and a bridesmaid bouquet, as well as the buckets. But the other wedding was slightly larger, where I had 3 bridesmaid bouquets, a couple of ladies' corsages, some thank you bouquets, and a registry table arrangement, as well as the buttonholes and bride's bouquet. So my couples both had fabulous sunny days to get married on this week, which was fantastic for being in Scotland at this time of year. And now I need to get back on top of my growing, because when I had 2 weddings in 1 week, it's all about the floristry, the cutting flowers and arranging, and the growing goes by the wayside a bit, apart from doing the watering because it's been really dry. So next week we're back on to much more seed sowing, potting on, and checking on the plants, hardening them off, and getting more planted outside. Getting sweet peas planted outside. There's a huge list of jobs to do, so I'm looking forward to getting really stuck in the garden and showing you what I get up to next week.